Cribs with a dream, don't die, skylight kissing the skies. With 25 calling out time, freshness, they gon' shine. Silver splashing bombs, out of orbit they fly. Linear steady cooking, kingpin, shortstop guy. Orange and blue, rep true, yeah we here fight. Mets taking crowns in the city, feel lights. Queens in the house, loud and clear, no fear. 2025's the year, let's make it crystal clear. Let's make it crystal clear. Alonzo crushing moons, bats igniting the spark. Polar bear in the zone, send it deep to the park. The anthem's rolling through, got a swagger so clean. Queen's army on the rise, building championship dream. Orange and blue, rapping true, yeah we here fight. Mets taking crowns in the city, feel lights. Queens in the house, loud and clear, no fear. 2025's the year, let's make it crystal clear. Let's make it crystal clear. To the boroughs, the city unites. Soto bombs hitting skies, fireworks in the night. Lindor's the leader, on the field he commands. And Pete bringing power, got the league in his hands. Within the Mets, every inning a brawl. Pitchers painting corners, strikeouts making them crawl. From the dugout to the fans, energy on blast. Queens finest on the map, dynasty built to last. Let's make it crystal clear. Rob on the mic, spitting truth from the heights. Queens unite under stadium lights. Bright nights, 7 train rides. Dreams born in the real hum. Brooklyn to Queens, yeah we all about that outcome. This our time, this our cheer. Mets talk loud, bring the hype, make it clear. From the boroughs to the field, this our year. Queens in the house, let the world hear. From Flushing Meadows, echoes bounce off the bat. Rob calls, take the mic, snaps like a thunderclap. Home runs over bridges, no gaps in the story. Mets rise, reclaiming the glory. 7 the city, blue and orange army swarm. Summer vibe electric, love in every form. From Biggie's blocks to Flushing's heartbeat. Our anthem loud, no retreat. This our time, this our cheer. Mets talk loud, bring the hype, make it clear. From the boroughs to the field, this our year. Queens in the house, let the world hear. The apple pops in the outfield, city of dreams. Rob's voice over static, Mets on every stream. White lines mapped out the future, vividly. From shade to city, the journey's never gimmicky.
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another Mets Trade Watch live right here on the channel and on X. How are you doing once again, guys? As prior to after the pregame show / trade talk, the Mets did make a deal for reliever Tyler Rogers from the San Francisco Giants, and a deal where it sent 3 players going back. One of them is Jose Butto, which Tyler Rogers is clearly replacing in this bullpen. Blade Tidwell, and the one that more people are probably a little annoyed about is Drew Gilbert. But I wanted to let everybody know to read what Anthony DiComo, who is in the know and knows a lot about these prospects in regards to what the internal thought process and the internal overall opinion and what the organization thought of these players. All right, let's start with Jose Butto. And thank you for tuning in to the Mets Trade Watch show, guys. How are you doing? Hopefully everybody is, taking more of a deep breath, because this game, the Mets are shitting the bed once again in San Diego. They just can't beat San Diego. Like, they have a hard time beating San Diego. They never hit Yu Darvish, no matter if he's pitching good or bad. It's just a shit show in San Diego. It's the Padres just have our numbers. So let's start with this trade that just happened about an hour ago, a little over an hour ago. Start with Jose Butto, who is on the Major League roster. What has been the problem with Jose Butto with the Mets? Like, since he's come up, his biggest problem was walks. This team has problems walk-in batters. The entire pitching staff, from the starters to the bullpen, the starters, they walk people willingly, it seems like. Jose Buto has had a hard time this year not walking batters. He got in trouble yesterday because of that. He's got in trouble multiple times because of that. He hasn't even been a trusted bullpen arm in Mendoza's eyes all season. And that's a problem. That is a huge problem. So with Jose Buto being the late addition to this trade package for Tyler Rogers, I think was to get the deal done. In my opinion, and this is not no reporting or knowing anything else, this is just my opinion. I feel like, and the only thing I do know, Kev Chada, how you doing, buddy? I appreciate you tuning in. And yes, if you're watching the game right now, a foul ball kind of ricocheted on the side of the helmet when Alvarez was catching, and probably precautionary because it is a shot to the head, the side of the head. That's always dangerous. So he's out of the game. Torrens is in the game now. So as I was saying, the Jose Buto situation, you're replacing a guy that has a 1.80 ERA. He's Mr. Consistency. He throws strikes, which this team desperately needs in the bullpen. We have too many guys that are very inconsistent with throwing strikes. Yeah, Kev, that's not true. We're a top 3 team in baseball. Look at our record. Don't look at the team. Don't even bother looking at the roster. All right? Look at the record. That's what matters. Stop looking at 26 guys on the roster and saying, "Oh, we're not good enough." Who's better than us? Like, that's the thing. But but again, we're looking at Gilbert more higher than a lot of teams. Again, I challenge you. I don't challenge you guys. Go on Anthony DeComo's X account. He puts a thread over there of why the Mets. He broke it down for each individual player. This is where I'm getting it from. Jose Buto, Drew Gilbert, Blade Tidwell. He breaks down each player to why the Mets were willing to give up these guys. Like, and he does this. Yeah, but Dolo, it's not about the pieces. You're going for this 3-for-1 nonsense. Stop it. It does not matter. The quality of Rogers right now, I don't care about next year. If you care about next year, then stop watching Mets baseball for 2025 because you really don't give a damn about this year. Jose Buto wasn't helping his team this year. It wasn't working. He walks the ballpark. Every time he got into a bigger situation, like yesterday, what happened? This has been consistent with him this year, right? Don't give me the bullshit about last year because it doesn't matter, right? And in the playoffs last year, how did he perform? He wasn't good there either, right? You got a guy with postseason experience in Tyler Rogers. You got a guy who's Mr. Consistency. He doesn't throw hard, but he gets guys out. Somebody put up a stat with 3 guys on the Phillies. It was Turner, Harper, and somebody else. 3 righties, and Castellanos. 3 for 25 with 0 extra base hits. Pitching against those guys. 3 for 25 with no extra base hits. This is why you get a guy like that. Because you know why? Who are we fighting for this division? The Phillies. So you got Gregory Soto to do what you need to do with Brooks Raley, to get Harper out, to get Schwarber out. Now you get a righty who is very tough against righties to get those other guys out in that lineup. This is what matters. This is what we're talking about here. Did this make you better than 2 hours ago? Absolutely. And again, I go back. No, Kev, no, it doesn't. Because you know how much Fairbanks and Duran's going to take? It's going to cost you double than what you gave up. Again, Drew Gilbert is not a high prospect anymore, guys. He is out of the top 10. It took 2 years and he's out of the top 10. Blade Tidwell, we've seen him. He is there. And again, Dolo, you know why Mendy will use Rodgers? Because you got a guy like fucking Clay Holmes in the starting rotation that should never been in the first place. That's why. So stop blaming Mendy for overusing guys when our starters, 4/5 of our starters, can't go deep into games. Not named David Peterson. His number, Rodgers' numbers. Thank you, Pazu. How you doing? Yeah, but here's the problem, guys. Right? How many people wanted Brooks Raley back? He's not 28 years old, right? Doesn't mean you can't sign Rodgers for next year. This guy doesn't throw hard. Like he's got a rubber arm. He throws. He's a pitcher, not a thrower. Buto became a thrower. Like, exactly. Like Gilbert was the guy, and I said this in the stream, the breaking news stream. Drew Gilbert wasn't the highlight of the Verlander trade. It was Ryan Clifford. Ryan Clifford was the bigger overall prospect. Drew Gilbert was the first guy that was in the deal. And the Mets weren't going to do it unless Clifford was in the deal. Clifford was the higher ranking prospect. Drew Gilbert, within 2 years, dropped out of the top 10. And it's not like the Mets, made a ton of draft picks. Other guys, including Jet Williams, by the way, has outperformed him. And here's the other thing for you prospect huggers, because clearly that's what some of you are. Jet Williams consistently have shown, ever since they moved him to center field and played him in center field consistently, that they're very comfortable with Jet Williams being our top center field prospect. That's why Drew Gilbert was expendable, because you got corner outfield prospects. You got Carson Bench. You got Ryan Clifford. Carson Bench can play center field if need be. This guy's jumping up the minor league system like crazy. Ryan Clifford is a corner outfielder. Yeah, but Dwayne Stearns is not paying pitchers long-term contracts. Rodgers isn't going to get a long-term contract. He'll get 2 years, a year with probably an option. Like, that's fine. But again, we're concerning ourselves with, is it a rental or not? It's more likely that he can sign Rodgers after the season than he'll sign a rental starter. I don't think a rental starter makes any sense. You go out and because again, guys, he signed all 1-year deals. Do you know how many rentals that we currently have on this team? Stanek, rental. Rarely, rental. Reed Garrett, rental. The entire bullpen is rental, except for Edwin Diaz, and he has an opt-out. Like, you guys got to understand the logic in this. But Kev, the context is wrong. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, he's talking about numbers. 3 for 1. That's what is annoying. Explosive, if there's another, well, I don't know, because Stearns has been very aggressive with the bullpen. So would I be shocked if he gets another higher leverage bullpen arm? Like, and I don't see how it's an overpay when you gave no top 10 prospects for a player in Drew Gilbert who has been dropping down in your farm system that's getting better and better. And Blade Tidwell, who some believe, and again, go to Anthony DiComo and look at his thread on X. He broke it down. There are concerns, there are talks that Blade Tidwell might not even be a starting pitcher. He might be a bullpen arm. He's a back-end rotation guy, possibly, and possibly a bullpen arm. So that's what you're giving up, number one, not a top 10 prospect. Remember, he was above Tong and McLean and Sproat at one point. and he dropped like a ton of bricks. And Jose Butto, why are we so upset about Jose Butto? He's a walk machine. Rogers replaces him, and he's better. Who cares about age? Did anybody care about Rayleigh when he came back? His age? What about Stanek? What about Reed Garrett? He's not 35 years old, but like these are not 27-year-olds. Like the fact of the matter is, you got better today than what you were 2 hours ago. You got a solid lefty, which a second lefty is huge for the New York Mets. If you don't think so, you're nuts. Gregory Soto, aggressive move. This was an aggressive move. This was a situation where David Stearns wanted Tyler Rogers. That's it. He wanted Tyler Rogers, as I show you the trade for anybody who's just tuning in. He wanted Tyler. Oh, sorry, I put Taylor Rogers, but it's Tyler Rogers. Sorry about that. Might as well go back to that, right? Tyler Rogers is better than Jose Butto. Stearns wanted Tyler Rogers. Why are we bitching about? You see, this is the problem. And Ron, I haven't heard anything about Mason Miller yet. I know the Mets are involved with the Phillies, the Yankees, and I believe they said another team. I can't remember the other team. But Mets, Phillies, Yankees, mostly the Mets and the Yankees seem to be like front runners for Mason Miller. Let's see. Yeah, and Taylor Rogers was traded. Yes. No, Truman, but that's the thing though. Even Gregory Soto wasn't much of a thought right off the bat, right? There wasn't a ton of rumors. We didn't even hear Tyler Rogers' name. We were hearing everybody else, and that's why when it comes down to it, if we see let's try to find the equilibrium, the same like threshold of a Tyler Rogers guy. He's a guy that has a better ERA than any high leverage arm that's not a closer. That is a 7th, 8th inning setup guy. He's one of the best. If you just look at pure numbers, right? Everybody was talking the other day about numbers. You got a guy who's very good, who's better than most. And is it a hefty price? Watch how fast. If Griffin Jacks goes, what do you think he's going to give you? He's going to get. Like, we have to understand the logic in this, right? Jose Butto was killing this team, consistently walking. He wasn't a trusted bullpen arm in Mendoza's eyes. He consistently was used earlier in games when pitchers couldn't go deep. And then when he got into high leverage situations, he walked the ballpark. That's what it is. Well, David, what else do we need? Well, I think we're going to get another bat, and it's probably going to be in center field. I mean, the way it's looking, I mean, I don't see why we would need another bullpen arm, but the way it's going about, the way David Stearns is working here, he's clearly being aggressive in the bullpen market. I mean, if they find a way to get Mason Miller, which is going to cost you a ton, I mean, so be it. Like, I just don't care. Now, Mason Miller obviously is under control. He's young. He's got a great arm. So, again, there will be people bitching. Oh my God, who could they give up? Like, I truly believe that some people don't want to win. They want to win only in their way, which doesn't win you shit. It makes you feel good about yourself. So you can talk about the farm system. Like, there is not a team, and I go back to this every single time, Mets fans. Listen up. The last 5 years, go back to trade deadlines and find me a team that wasn't aggressive, even if it was slight overpay or even overpay on certain players. Even if it was relievers, because there was overpay on relievers every single year. There's always overpay on relievers. And tell me it didn't help these teams. You see that little quote right there? That's my quote. Feel free to use it because it pisses prospect huggers off. And I love it. because prospect huggers are the ones that want to find every way to give unknown minor leaguers to everybody, but want everything in return. That is a fairy tale. This is reality. You got to give to get. It's just that simple. The quote, proven talent over prospects every time. And there's a little, I would put a notation on that and put it this way, a little footnote. If that prospect isn't helping you on a team that is a World Series contender, which the Mets are, they're a top 3, top 5 team in baseball, which means they're very much a World Series contender. If Drew Gilbert isn't helping this team, and again, we've needed a center fielder for how long? If Drew Gilbert is such a great prospect, why not bring him up? Because the Mets didn't think he was good enough. Just that simple. If they're not helping us this year, don't worry about next year. Next year we have the offseason to talk about. With Jet Williams emerging as a guy who can consistently play center field and have shown a lot of great strides, and from all the metrics, he's a very good go-get-him center fielder. His speed is what probably helps him a lot in center field. The fact that he is outperforming offensively Drew Gilbert became expendable. Yeah, but see, this is the thing. Dwayne, though, this is the problem. This is the major problem. If you don't make a move and you don't win the World Series, you will bitch about the move that wasn't made. Because that's what happens every year. Like, that's the point. Go for it. Try to win. What is wrong with trying to win? What's wrong with going for it and trying to win? That's what I don't understand. Like, I just don't get it. They didn't give a chance to Gilbert in the majors. Why is that? Ask yourself. Drew Gilbert has been dropping like a ton of bricks in this farm system. Did you see the updated? There was about 90% of them that had him, and the ones that I really care about, the ones that I trust, had him 15 or below, which was like 15 to 20. So this is a guy who was top 5 prospect in your system 2 years ago, and is not even in the top 15. Like these are national rankings. These aren't my rankings that I wrote on a piece of paper. These are rankings that people look at all the time. Like we got to stop. Like I truly believe you guys don't care what Rogers brings to the table. You're only caring about Drew Gilbert can be the next PCA. Great. Okay, that's a big if. And a lot of the times these prospects turn into nothing. And it's more often than not. And the reason why you make this deal is because you're better. You're expected to win. You're in win now mode, guys. This is the point. This is the point that not a lot of you are understanding, or some of you. Like it's a constant battle with people that want to win but don't want to do what is necessary to win. And again, blame guys like Mark Vientos. Blame guys like Jose Buto. Blame guys that didn't get it done in the bullpen. Because if they got it done, we wouldn't be talking about this. We wouldn't be talking about acquiring Gregory Soto or giving Buto, Tillwell, Gilbert for Rogers. Blame those guys. They didn't get the job done. So David Stearns has to get these guys to make up for their lack of performance. Like, yeah, Marcus, I know they're down 4-0. Like, they don't beat the Padres. They can't. So, well, yeah, but here's the thing, guys, and I say this a lot: the PCA trade made no sense for Javi Baez. Not that it wasn't a move that I wouldn't have made, but I would have made it if that was the missing piece. If Javier Baez was the missing bat that this team needed, whatever the case may be. If he was the missing piece, that trade is worthy. That trade is worth doing. If that was your final piece, if that was your missing piece. The fact that we all know that year they needed hell of a lot more than what they did, than what they got. They needed starters, they needed bullpen, they needed probably 3 bats in that lineup. That roster wasn't ready to win. That wasn't a win now team. The team was in flux. Nobody knew if Lindor, it was going to be good in New York. Alonso was turning down an extension. Like, there was so much going on. And the team wasn't ready. That wasn't the missing piece. That's why that trade was stupid. It's not stupid if it's the missing piece you need in a contending team that is a World Series contender. That team was never a World Series contender. We all knew it. Like, that's the difference. This team is good, really good. And again, just look at the record and look at the other teams in Major League Baseball. They're a top 5 team. Like just think about it. Are the Tigers ultimately better? People are going to say, well, look at their pitching staff. And then I go to you, well, does that really matter? Because I watched the Dodgers beat the hell out of people offensively last year. I watched the Texas Rangers in 2024 or 2023, beat the hell out of everybody offensively. And there's moments where pitching won championships. But let's be honest, the last 2 seasons, it was all about the offense. So this team needed to get better. This team, and I talked about this in 2022, they were going through the motions a little bit, right? They're going through the motions a little bit. They clearly needed reinforcements. You half-assed the deadline, and the team played like you half-assed the deadline. The acquisitions weren't good enough, and we all knew it on that trade deadline. When the deadline was over, we knew it wasn't good enough. We were hoping that we found a way to sneak in and win the division, but the Braves are red hot. They made the correct moves, and we just sat there getting, horse shit back in acquisitions when there was better acquisitions out there. And don't tell me there wasn't anything out there. There was. You tell me you couldn't find nothing better than Vogelback, nothing better than Ruff, Naquin, Michael Givens? Come on. Well, Dwayne, we all agree with that, right? This offense needs to perform better. But you also get the bat because it shows your team, it shows your roster that, all right, we're trying to get reinforcements in here. We're trying to get better. And as much as people don't understand it, let me ask some guys. When Vogelbach's walk into the room, does that motivate you if you're somebody in the lineup? Like, really? This is what you're doing to help us? And I'm not saying anybody the Mets get. Let's say it's Luis Robert. That's going to be the difference. But he's a guy that does have power. He's a guy that is electric on the base path. He has 26 stolen bases. He's very damn good defensively. Like, we got to stop. Like, Luis Robert is better than Tyrone Taylor overall as a player. Tyrone Taylor has, 2 home runs? Did you check Robert's numbers? Like, it's better. It's not, if you're looking at a great player compared to Luis Robert, of course you're going to say, well, Luis Robert's not a great player. But there's potential there. There's a potential for that bat to show up in a lineup. Same thing goes for Mullins. Same thing goes for Brandon Lau. Like, it just is what it is. The fact that People complain about what he gave up. Yet, why aren't you talking about what helped us? Did they help us? Tidwell, spot starter. Tidwell was basically, hey, Senga's not ready yet. Senga needs an extra day. Can you pitch? Thank you. That's what Tidwell was for this in this organization. So he was nothing to us. Drew Gilbert, again, top 5 prospect when the Mets got him. Dropped out of the top 10 last year, or was hovering around the top 10 last year with injuries. And then this year, because of draft and players performing better, he dropped out of the top 10. So, and Jet Williams became the Mets' top center field prospect or outfield prospect, along with Ryan Clifford, over Drew Gilbert. That's why you trade Drew Gilbert. You used him as an asset because there was guys that basically replaced him on the depth charts. That's why you trade him. Again, when they're not useful and you have the log jam, you have the depth of those same areas of need or of positions. Why I think you're going to be a little shocked about what infield prospects and infielders are going to be moved, because it's going to happen. And I've said this for a while. These guys on this roster right now, Acuna and Vientos in particular. Now, I think the only way Vientos gets in a trade package if it's for a starter. I don't think Vientos and Luis Robert is the thing anymore. I think it's more about Acuna in a trade like that. The Mets can't walk out of the deadline on August 1st, the next day after the deadline, and say, we got Acuna on this roster. You got Vientos, Mauricio, Beatty on this roster. That doesn't work. You got to play these guys consistently to continue their progress and to actually play well or try to play well. You can't play all these guys every single day, because that means McNeil sits. If you do get a center fielder, that means another bench piece in Tyron Taylor is going to be sitting on the bench. So you're going to have less room for these guys to play. If Mauricio and Beatty are your guys, yeah, Vientos can DH, sure. And that's fine. There you go, guys. So here's the thing. Ken Rose, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. If Duran goes to the Phillies, Painter's in that deal. So ask yourself, if Duran goes to the Phillies, they're giving up their top pitching prospect. Were you willing to do that? And there lies the problem. More people probably want Duran over Rogers and Soto, probably, right? That's probably understandable. But are you willing to trade Jonathan? Noah McLean? And this is why I say you got to try to get better than the team you're trying to beat. Phillies close to acquiring Durant from the Twins. I want to see it because I'll tell you right now, if they give up their top pitching prospect, then there you go. Like, there's the thing. Like, this is why you got to win trades over your competitors, especially teams in your division. Wait, hold on. Why, Kev? Why do you want Bieber? He hasn't pitched in the majors this year. He's on rehab starts. That's a guy you want. We not getting any type of know what he's going to do in the majors once he comes back from rehab. And oh, by the way, you want another guy in this rotation that can't give you length? You really think Shane Bieber coming back from rehab starts is going to throw 7 innings consistently? He's going to be on a pitch count and an innings limit. We don't need another one of those guys. Now, I like Quan, but Quan's a table setter. He's not a run producer. The Mets get on base. We need a run producer. We need somebody that can drive in runs. Like, let's relax. yeah, it's a different Duran. It's the Twins closer, Joan Duran, probably one of the best closers in baseball. Like, there you go. Yeah, but Dolo, Gilbert Budo Tuo is not even close to getting you what Duran. Are you out of your mind? There's no top 10 prospect in that deal. That makes no sense. That's a stupid comment. The Twins would hang up the phone before you even finish the package. I'm telling you right now, Painter is in that deal. Their number one pitching prospect. That starts with a Jonah Tong or a Noah McLean. That's where that starts. That's it. If you're not starting with that, they're hanging up the phone. Like this is the problem. Like, this is the issue. Like, you guys are not serious with these trades. Tidwell, Gilbert, and Buto is not getting you Duran. If it did, it would be the steal of a lifetime. Now, let's see what the Phillies gave up, but I'm pretty sure Painter's going to be in that deal. If not, I want to see the other part. But again, if they give 2 or 3 top 10 prospects, are you willing to do that? Like, you guys, do you listen to yourselves and read what you wrote? That doesn't make no sense. Like, Tidwell is not even a top 15 prospect. Drew Gilbert's on the border of a top 15 prospect. All dropped in the farm system over the last couple of years. And Buto is an average bullpen arm. That's not getting it done. No, Dolo, he was involved. But again, I'm going to tell you this right now. I guarantee you it's at least 2 top 10 prospects, probably 3 top 10 prospects. Now, there's a possibility that somebody's coming off the Phillies roster. Maybe it is, one of their, they were talking about Castellanos possibly being I don't know if that makes any sense for the Twins, but who knows? But I'm telling you right now, it's 2 top 10 prospects at least. If you're not willing to give 2 top 10 prospects, and Drew Gilbert and Tidwell were not that. So that's not even a conversation starter. So Dolo, don't even bring that up again, because that's just a dumb package. Come on, like that's crazy. You're not even getting Bednar for that. Rogers is an 8. Yes, he is the setup man for sure. Now, he's not gonna, wow you with his stuff when it comes to, total speed. But he gets guys out. He's consistently a strike thrower, which his team desperately needs. Not a lot of strike throwers in his Mets pitching staff, starters or bullpen. Yeah, they probably want Painter. They might even put Marsh in there, considering the fact that they might get Luis Robert. So, there you go. Like this is the problem. Like, I'm waiting for the deal to come through. I would like to see. Hopefully, it's coming soon. Let's see. It's close, so we'll see if it goes down soon. Let's see. And John Heyman just tweeted not too long ago that the Mets still endeavoring to upgrade in center field. Luis Robert Jr. and Cedric Mullin leads the way among their center field options. So, again, the Phillies are in on Robert as well. So, again. Yep, they're into Phillies. It's looking like it's going to be the case. Just a matter of what's going to come back. All right, so Travis Hudson is a Twins. He's a reporter for baseball in general. It's a done deal. Twins in agreement with the Phillies to send Joan Duran to the Philadelphia Phillies, and just waiting for the package coming back. So once again, Phillies get Joan Duran, waiting for a package. see what's there. And again, if Painter starts this or is part of it, it's just not. It's no contest with what the Mets were willing to do. Because if they're not willing to trade their, and again, this is the problem that I've talked about with David Stearns. I think these are two good moves with Rogers and Soto. But when you want to get the ultimate guy on the market, you got to not have untouchables in your farm system. Painter was untouchable until he's not. What did I tell you guys multiple times over the last 2 weeks? Dave Dombrowski on Phillies Talk Radio on the broadcast of a Phillies game not too long ago. His words were exactly this. There is no prospects that I'm not willing to trade. We are going all in. We have a lot of free agents. We're getting older. That's what he says. So I told you this. Watch out for the Phillies. And I said that. So now, well, Dolo, you look at the package you just said. Like, oh, if Tidwell, Gilbert, and Buto were the deal for Duran, yeah, who wouldn't sign up for that deal? The Twins never had a conversation with the Mets if that was the case. If that was the package they were trying to get for Duran, I mean, the Mets were never really seriously involved. So I'm just waiting for the. Let's see. I'm just waiting for the package. I'm really curious. Let's see. Still nothing yet. Let's see. Yeah, nothing yet on the package. But I mean, you would think Painter's got to be in the deal. I don't think it would be a contest. But again, I'm going to look at the Phillies' top prospects. Let me just. Joel, I don't know though. See, that's not the case though. If Painter's not in the deal, I'm checking the Phillies prospects list right now. Now I don't know if this is the updated one, but Painter is their number one prospect, right? So you got Mike Abel, who is another top pitcher prospect. You got Moses Chase, and you got Gene Cabrera. All these guys are like ready to go top prospects. That's in their top 10 alone. Right. They also have Aiden Miller, who's a shortstop. He's probably in the deal because you got Turner for 100 years. So pretty good possibility Aiden Miller is going to be there. But let's just say Andrew Painter and Aiden Miller are the top two prospects. If one of them are in there, the Mets are no contest. Like, that's the problem. Okay, so it's Abel. Okay. Wow, Eduardo Tate. Okay, so it's their number 2 and number 4 prospect. Again, the top shortstop in their system and their top catcher in their system. They got Real Muto, even though he's a free agent, and they have Turner as a shortstop. You see what I talk about log jams? You use them as assets when you don't need them. There you go. So, all right, so here we go. All right, let me just get everything. All right. They got Griffin Jacks. Danny Colomé is an option, but he's a lefty. I don't think the Mets are going to get another lefty. So Griffin Jacks is the other twin guy. If they traded Duran, I don't think they're going to trade Jacks because Jacks has more years of control, and he could probably fill in as the closer for the next couple of seasons. So, all right, let's see. I'm trying to find out. And people are talking about those two guys. Let's see. All right, so there you go. John Heyman just reported Duran for Phillies for Abel and Tate. Again, the number 2 and number 4 prospect. And let's just go to the top 100 because that's what's going to matter. All right, here we go. Let's do it. Phillies. All right, so Eduardo Tate and Aiden Miller. Right? It's their number 2 prospect and their number 4 prospect. 18th ranked in the top 100, and 56th ranked in the top 100. All right, let's check the Mets. Now, if you want to be comparable, this is what we got to do. Who? There you go. Let's see. Here we go. So, if you want to make a comparison, it's Jonah Tong and Carson Bench. How you feel about that? But Ray, it's not it. That's the problem. You're comparing just the Phillies as their number 2 and number 4 prospect. Again, here's the problem. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to break this down for you guys. The Mets number 2 and number 4 prospect is Jonah Tong and Carson Bench. 52 and 68th in the top 100. The Phillies just gave up their 56th and their 18th out of their the top 100 in Major League Baseball. The Mets weren't doing that. That's the problem. Okay, well, see, that's the thing. You're giving up Carson Bench, and again, this is why Drew Gilbert was expendable. As the Mets lose 5-0 and get swept by the Padres. Yes, I'm sorry, Nick, but that's right. My fault. I'm sorry about that. Hold on one second. So they're 92nd in a pitcher, which is one of their top pitching prospects other than Painter. So it's Mick Abel and Aiden Miller, number 92 and 18. Again, that's the problem. Again, Jonah Tong, the Mets aren't trading. Carson Bench, they're not trading. And again, the Mets, and this goes along with the problem. Are you trading? Like, I just want to be real with you guys. Like, what are you trading? Are you trading Jet Williams? No. Jonah Tong? No. Noah McLean? No. Carson Bench? No. Brandon Sproat? No. Those are your top 5 prospects. How's it getting done? Like, that's the problem. Like, they just gave 2 top 10 prospects. The Mets aren't giving anybody in their top 5. So that is not happening. You say, okay, so you know, a lot again, I do that for a guy like Durant. Like, I would. But again, look, people saying no McLean, no Tong, no Williams. That's your top 3. Conversation's almost over, right? The Twins are hanging on by a thread on the phone call. Well, you know what? What about Brandon Sproat? No. Oh, there you go. Okay, so the trade for the Phillies, and they traded for Joan Duran, the closer for the Twins. They traded Aiden Miller. Give me a second, guys. Hold on. Gotta get everything correct here. Aiden Miller, their number 2 overall prospect, shortstop. They don't need him. So they used a logjam and depth that Miller wasn't. Where was he going? Nowhere, right? You got Turner. And they traded their number 6 prospect in Mick Abel, a right-handed pitcher a prospect pitcher that is projected to be up already this year into next year. So there you go. Their number 2 prospect, their number 6 prospect. A starting pitcher or a right-handed pitcher and their number 2 overall prospect. The Mets weren't doing that. And Easy, I was just going to thank you, Easy. So the Mets are targeting Mason Miller. So that takes the Phillies out of Mason Miller, which is good. If the Mets can get Mason Miller, great. But what do you think Mason Miller is going to cost you? And Duran just cost you a number 2 and number 6 overall prospect, right? So, John Duran. All right. Twins. Okay. I just want to see something really quick. All right. I just want to break it down here because you got to understand the whole logic here, right? So for the Phillies number 2 overall prospect in Miller and Abel is the number 6 prospect. You got this year and 2 more years before he comes a free agent at 27, 28, 29 years old, right? So 2 years, 2.5 years, 2 months and 2 years of control for the number 2 overall prospect in Miller, who's a shortstop, which there's no need for him, and McAble, who is a right-handed pitcher, a top 10 pitching prospect. The Mets weren't giving up any of their top 10 pitching prospects. So that's a done deal, right? So now they weren't going to do it to Durant. So let's go into Mason Miller, right? All right, Mason Miller. Here we go. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 more years of control, including 2 months of this year. So 4 years and 2 months of control. Like this, like if they're going for Mason Miller, he's around the same age as Durant, like a little younger, but near the same age. Well, is it 3 years of control? Like, let's put it this way, right? Are the Mets willing to give up Jet Williams? If, like, did the Twins get fleeced? I don't know. I don't know. Here's what I do know: the Phillies just got damn better in their bullpen. That's this is the thing that pisses me off, right? The Phillies know they're going for it, right? Wait, didn't they? Wait, hold on. Heyman just said, hold on. Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. Hold on, because I just saw. Hold on. Did it get changed? Mick Abel and Eduardo Tate ranked as two of the Phillies' top 6 prospects. Okay, so it's 2 top 6 prospects. The Mets weren't doing that for Durant. Now, will they do that plus for Mason Miller, who has more control? Well, again, John, how did the Mets get fleeced when they gave up no top 10 prospects? For, again, if you're looking at the ERA, because you're only looking at the name, you gave up a walk machine in Jose Buto, who was doing nothing for you. You gave up Drew Gilbert, who has been going downhill in the Mets rankings in farm system, in prospects. Carson Bench and Jet Williams, who are now your top outfield prospects. I know they say shortstop with Williams, but he's playing center field. You got 2 Carson Bench, Clifford, and Jet Williams, all higher prospects in the outfield than Drew Gilbert. So Drew Gilbert is bordering the top 15 ranked prospect. Like, Taylor is a really good deal, considering the fact that Drew Gilbert was jumped over by 3 outfield prospects in the Mets system. Jet Williams is considered a shortstop outfielder. He's been playing center field. Like, that's the thing. That is the problem. Like, we are over ranking these guys. Blade Tidwell was passed up by Tong, McLean, and Sproat over the last year and a half. Tidwell was our top pitcher prospect. And then he wasn't. Fast, quickly. But again, the Twins are basically rebuilding. They're getting rid of everybody. Like, they'll probably get rid of a couple more bullpen arms. Who knows what bats they're probably going to get rid of. Yeah, well, Mike, again, I challenge people who are here right now that don't like the Tyler Rogers deal. Go to Anthony DeComo and read what he talks about. The Mets believe that Blade Tidwell is maybe a back-end rotation starter, most likely a bullpen arm. That's the development they're looking at here, right? When it comes to Drew Gilbert, I just went over it. They were very down on Drew Gilbert, right? He's been hurt multiple times. Even this year, he's been hurt. He hasn't been durable since the Mets got him from Houston. And again, Drew Gilbert wasn't the big piece in the deal for Verlander. It was Ryan Clifford, as I said many times. The fact of the matter is, Drew Gilbert, who was highly ranked in the Mets system when they got him from Houston, once Jet Williams emerged and the Mets decided to start him in the outfield more often than not, that changed the ball game. That changed decisions being made with David Stearns. He drafted Carson Bench. Carson Bench, if you haven't noticed, flew up the charts rather quickly. And Ryan Clifford. All three top outfield prospects are in your top 10 right now. Drew Gilbert wasn't. Zach, I never said it was an overpay. What I'm saying is they gave up a number 2 and a 6 prospect. They gave up 2 top 6 prospects. The Mets weren't given 2 top 6 prospects to the Phillies. The problem with the Mets and their farm system right now, even though it's solid, it's really good, is that because David Stearns made these 3 pitchers probably untouchable, makes it very hard to get guys like Duran under control unless they can get Mason Miller, and we'll see what goes back there. But here's the other problem. Now, do I think it's an overpay for Duran? No. I think it's a fair deal, to be quite honest with you. I do. Again, you got to look at it from the Twins' perspective. They're not winning over the next couple of years. They're rebuilding. So these guys are going to build up either in the majors or in their farm system. And you got to understand the fact that Tyler Rogers, what he does to this bullpen now is huge. The Mets didn't need a closer. That's the other problem. That's the other thing that the Mets didn't have to worry about. They got Diaz. They needed high leverage guys from the 6th inning, from the 7th inning and 8th inning. They didn't have it. They had a lot of inconsistencies in those innings. How many times have we couldn't get to Diaz because of those bullpen arms? Now you got guys like Gregory Soto and Tyler Rogers. Tyler Rogers, who has a 1.80 ERA. I truly believe people didn't even check his numbers. They heard of Tyler Rogers. They just seen him with the Giants when the Mets faced them. So they didn't really look at the numbers. They just saw Tyler Rogers. You know why? Because he's not a flamethrower. People don't like him. And again, in pure numbers, they gave up a lot. But in the true spectrum of what they gave up, wasn't a lot. Drew Gilbert was a lower end prospect in the farm system that was getting better. When you got 3 top outfield prospects and Jet Williams is considered now a shortstop outfielder with Carson Bench, with Ryan Clifford, Drew Gilbert was an expendable prospect. Like Tyler Rogers, and again, I talked about this earlier. The Mets bullpen, the Mets pitching staff has problem with walks, right? You didn't really give up much for Gregory Soto at all. So now he can get wild at times, but he has electric stuff. So you didn't really give up much. So you kind of gave basically nothing for a guy that could be a little erratic around the strike zone. But when he's on, he's nearly untouchable. And he needed another lefty, right? So with Tyler Rogers, guess what he is that the Mets don't have? A strike thrower. He's a strike thrower that dominates right-handed pitching. And he's pretty good against lefties as well. But again, you don't really need Tyler Rogers probably against lefties more often than not because you got Gregory Soto and Brooks Raley. You see how that works out? And it's more about fit than just pure, oh, look at this guy. Look what you gave up. It's fit. The Mets need another lefty on the market. Soto was one of the better ones on the market. Tyler Rogers, nobody talked about him being available. He was one. Now he is one of the better bullpen arms that was on the market. The Mets got him. But again, you guys got to do a little bit of homework. You guys just see names and don't care about anything else. The Mets didn't need a closer. Why overpay for Joan Duran when you don't need a closer? You see the idea with that, where you would have to give up again. Why do we act like the Phillies didn't give up no top 10 prospects? They gave up 2 top 6 prospects. The Mets weren't willing to give any of their pitching prospects up for Duran. In Tong, McLean, and Sproat. The Phillies did. They gave up one of their top 6, one of their top 2 pitching prospects. The Mets weren't given any of their top 6 players in their farm system for Duran, for whatever reason, whatever the reason it is. Maybe Stearns likes Mason Miller and they think they can get him. I don't know. We'll find out. But Chosen, Diaz is most likely not gone. If he opts out, sure. But that doesn't mean that Stearns won't sign him or get somebody else. Well, Patrick, again, Dave Dombrowski has a good enough farm system to make the necessary moves to go all in. Obviously, this Duran move is a very good move. It is there. Again, the Phillies didn't really have a closer. Like, that's the other thing you got to understand. Let's see. Yeah, but again, Strike, you're looking at replacing Diaz. Right? Why do we just assume that Joan Duran can just go into the 8th inning and pitch like he does in the 9th inning? Haven't we seen that story before, where pitchers who are closers have a hard time pitching anywhere else but the 9th? Like, I'm not saying that would be the case, but again, would I want Duran? Sure, of course. I'd be stupid to say no. Yeah, but Dolly, you can't look at the backup. You're looking at next year. Stop looking at next year. The Phillies never had a closer to begin with that was worth pitching every time to close games. No, wow. I want Mason Miller. Again, you're talking to somebody that I'm sick and tired of untouchable prospects. Get fucking better now. And again, when it comes to Mason Miller, you got control. So do it. Yeah, exactly. Alvarado, who took PEDs, can't pitch in the postseason. So that's a huge problem for the Phillies. Like, the Mets have a closer. Like, we're looking at this the wrong way. Why you don't talk about next year? Because it's pointless. It's pointless. Diaz didn't opt out yet. And we're talking about, well, I mean, come on, guys. Like, Joan Duran will replace Diaz. You can't look at it that way. Well, put it this way, Strike, right? Mason Miller has an extra year of control over Duran. So you would just assume that if the Phillies, and again, you got to look at the top 100, right? What the Mets are willing to give up, it's like, unless they're willing to trade some of these pitchers, I just don't understand. Won't come up because, people are afraid, and I think Stearns is too. And Giovanni, I wouldn't be shocked if they do. Like, Miller will probably cost more than all in Helsley and Jax. I think Jax has 2 more years of control. Helsley, I think, has a year of control. I'm sick of, again, prospects are suspects until proven otherwise. No, sure, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to make sense in the aspect of top 100 and what, like, these these Phillies prospects were ranked higher than the majority of the Mets top 6 prospects. And again, if the Mets aren't willing to trade the guys that are right near the Phillies top prospects that they gave up, why do you think the Mets were going to do it? Like that, and then people are saying it's an overpay for Rodgers when it ultimately isn't. It's not. Tyler Rogers, look at his numbers. This is the problem. People did not, I guarantee you, people saw the trade, saw the name, knew, and the worst case scenario for these Met fans, they saw Rogers pitch against the Mets. And that's all they cared about. They saw the names, didn't bother to do their homework, didn't look at the stats. The guy is Mr. Consistency. The guy is a strike thrower, and he has a 1.80 ERA, one of the best high leverage relievers in baseball. And you people complain. You guys are never happy. That's why I always question, do you really want to win? Because when you want to win, you got to be uncomfortable. That trade made Met fans uncomfortable, clearly. Look at the chat. It made you uncomfortable. But if you're concerned about the 3 guys we gave up more than what we actually got, then your mind is in the wrong place. This bullpen got better in a week with Gregory Soto and Tyler Rogers, and we might not be done. And when people curse, you just know that I'm spilling some facts here. Like, people did not look at the numbers and only looked at the name and says, who the hell is that? Some probably even know who the hell he was. Some probably thought he was Taylor Rogers, the lefty, his brother. And it is a hedge of confusion from No, see, I think Gilbert was in the deal. I think we're overhyping Gilbert because people were talking about Gilbert like he was the headliner in the Verlander trade when he wasn't. Ryan Clifford was always the bigger piece, which the Mets still have, by the way, and Carson Bench and Jet Williams. All 3 of those guys are highly ranked in the outfield more than Drew Gilbert. He's fell in this organization depth chart with prospects. Drew Gilbert was probably always in the deal. I think if it was up to Stearns and he had the final say, it would have been Drew Gilbert and Blade Tidwell. But I truly feel like the teams like the Phillies, team like the Yankees, who desperately need extra bullpen, high leverage bullpen arms. If you don't remember, go to the Phillies X account. I'm sorry. Check a Phillies beat reporter. Right? They were talking about Tyler Rogers, not the Mets. And again, the Phillies were in on Tyler Rogers. Ultimately, the Mets wanted Tyler Rogers. Right? They were still looking for high leverage arms. Again, the Mets have a closer. They shouldn't be focusing in on Duran. They got a closer in 2025. That's what should matter to Met fans, not 2026. Stop with that nonsense. The Mets needed a setup guy and high leverage reliever. They got him. And they're not done, most likely. Like, now they're very much in on Mason Miller. If they like Miller over Duran, why are we arguing? I say this all the time. If David Stearns wants a guy, go get him. As much as you want that guy, go get him. I don't want to hear about what ifs. Right? All these prospects are what ifs, including the Phillies prospects. For all we know, those Phillies prospects are going to turn out better than the Mets prospects that they gave up. And then how would that feel? But here's the ultimate goal. If you're going to win, who cares? All right, let's just see. Gilbert and Tidwell was enough. But committee, it wasn't extraordinary. It's the fact that Buto was in a situation where he consistently walked people ever since he's come up. He's had a problem with walks. You just replaced a walk machine in Jose Buto with Tyler Rogers, who's a strike thrower, who is better than Buto. We would hope Buto would turn into Tyler Rogers as just a consistent pitcher in the bullpen, who has a 1.80 ERA, who doesn't walk the ballpark, who throws strikes, who gets righties out nearly all the time. He's a dominant guy against righties. Same reason why the Mets went out and get a second lefty like Gregory Soto, because we got to face a lot of lefties, especially big ones. And the fact that you got two lefties gives Mendoza options. I'm more comfortable with Tyler Rogers on the mound than Jose Butto. People fall in love way too quickly with these guys. All right, let's see. Butto had one and a half years unless October. Yeah, I agree. We need an upgrade. Let's see. It was a good trade from. Yeah, it was a good trade for the Mets. It wasn't an overpay. You gave up no top 10 prospects. The Mets got two solid relievers. One's a setup man, and the other one's another high leverage guy for no top 10 prospects. Like, you want to talk about fleece? That's a fleece. Jose Butto is getting replaced by Tyler Rogers right now. And again, this guy is not, 20, 27 years old, but he's 34 with a rubber arm. He throws innings. The guy's out there. The guy is a submariner. The guy gets out right. He's like, this is what we're talking about here. Ben, exactly. We gave up technically, Tidwell's not even our fourth ranked pitching prospect. He was like our fifth or sixth. So we didn't give up any of our top 4 pitching prospects, or at least our top 3 pitching prospects. Drew Gilbert wasn't even our top 3 outfield prospects. Like, how is that not good? Again, you'd rather hold on to prospects just because it makes you feel better, and then when they ultimately don't do anything, or they're not the player that they were supposedly supposed to be, and then you guys complain anyway. Give me the proven, read my quote, proven talent over prospects every time. Drew Gilbert wasn't helping his team this year, and probably not next year. He got ran over by the other 3 guys I mentioned in our top prospect list. Tidwell, the Mets didn't see him as a guy that could probably be in a rotation. If he's lucky, he'll be a back-end rotation guy. They were seeing him more as a reliever. Well, Strike, there's the other thing. If Gilbert's a corner outfielder, then you got Nimmo for the next, 5 years? You got Soto for 120 years. Even if Drew Gilbert ended up being, like, he was considered a center fielder, but he was playing, like, if he was thrown into being a corner outfielder, then he's very pointless. That means Carson Bench is your center fielder, or Jet Williams. So the important thing here is, yeah, exactly. Like, I don't want to hear about PCA. This is not even close. It's not even close. PCA was a top 2,500 on the list of top 100. He was up there. He was the Mets' top prospect when the Mets didn't need one guy as a missing piece for that year, right? I am not saying that Rogers and Soto are the missing pieces, but what were the needs of this team? We forget about the needs of the team because the names doesn't tickle you down below. And that's right. I said that, right? Because it's true. Ben, it would take a lot, but again, what is our ultimate goal here, right? To win, right? Like a PCA trade is for a missing piece, right? Unfortunately, the Mets have multiple holes, right? There isn't like a guy like Duran. Well, of course, you would want him. You want Mason Miller too, of course. But the needs of this team wasn't a closer. Don't worry about next year. Next year, it will get figured out in the offseason. But you have to worry about now. Tyler Rogers helps you now. Gregory Soto helps you now. Diaz, who is your closer, by the way, we have one, if you haven't noticed. We have that. Why overpay or why give, again, they gave up 2 top 6 prospects. Where are the Mets' 2 top 6 prospects they were giving up? Ryan Hesley, there you go. Like, it's a lot of those things. All right, let's just check. Let's just check what's going on. What's going on? Hold on. Uh-oh. The Mets just might got a high leverage arm, baby. Ryan Helsley. Ooh, how we feeling? All right, all right, all right. Jesus Baez, a Mets top 10 prospect, shortstop, just got taken out of the game on base. It's looking like the Mets got Ryan Helsley. Oh, baby. Everybody feeling better now? It's looking like Jesus Baez at the moment, which is a top 10 prospect. He's what, 7th or 8th? Shortstop. Again, very expendable. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go, guys. Here we go. All right. So if it's Jesus Baez, it's a shortstop, third baseman. He's about 3 years, probably 2 years away. Number 8 prospect. Let's see if it's more. Oh, God. Dolo don't want to trade Baez now. Like we don't have a shortstop for the next 500 years. I cannot stop with this. Oh, beautiful, baby. Aggressive. Prospect huggers. Oh, my God. You're crying in the corner. I love it. I love it. Come on, guys. We're about to get Ryan Helsley of the St. Louis Cardinals, who is their closer. Like, I mean, Jesus, guys. Mike, I'm moist too. Hell yeah. Come on, guys. Get excited for once, man. God, you're so negative, as you always tell me. Jeez. I wonder sometimes. I mean, he has a 3 ERA. He again, very good for a closer, by the way. He had 49 saves last year. He has 21 saves this year, 36 innings. And again, it's hard to look at the saves because how many times did he got in the games? Let me see how many appearances. He was in 36 games. And not all of them were obviously to close out games. He only has 14 walks in 36 innings, so it's less than just about a walk per inning, a little less. 41 strikeouts, so it's well above a strikeout an inning. Like, I mean, let's go. Dolo, I don't think so. I truly think. Look again. Let's see what we give up. Here we come. It's coming. It's coming. It's going in. Here we go. Let's get it done. So again, guys, let me just give me a second, guys. Let me just put it up there. Just wanna. Oh, sorry, not that. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Let me just put up that news. All right, here we go. All right, guys. So if you're just tuning in, we got over 600 in the stream right now. Mets are closing in on St. Louis Cardinal closer Ryan Helsley. According to John Heyman, we're waiting for news. It's close. It's not done, but it's close. We just heard there was a report from a Mets beat reporter that Jesus Baez, which is the Mets' 8th overall prospect, shortstop, third baseman, which the Mets have about 47 of them. They got Lindor at short, so that's not happening. And they got like 17 third basemen on the roster currently. Expendable. Jesus Baez just came. He was on base, and they took him out. They pinch ran for him. So it's looking like he could be a part of the deal. And again, within a week, we got Gregory Soto, Tyler Rogers, and possibly Ryan Helsley. Let's go. Give me some, guys. Give me. Let's go. Get excited. We got a goddamn bullpen. Like, literally, we got a really good bullpen. Like, let's go. Like, here we go. Let's just see what's going on here. And Joe DeMayo, again, prospect guru. Jesus Baez was just pulled for a pinch runner in the Brooklyn Cyclone game. There you go. Let's see what's going on. We're still getting word here. What's going on? And our boy Chris CP he just tweeted 20 minutes ago. Durant to the Phillies. God damn it. Stearns needs to go get Helsley as a counter. Look what he's doing. I got a couple of coworkers right now that are watching my stream, and sorry guys, my coworkers are texting me, saying that they're watching me. That I'm losing it. Okay, so Mike Mayer of Mesmerize just tweeted a minute ago. Infield prospect Jesus Baez is part of the trade for Ryan Helsley. So that's one. That's the top 8 prospect. Let's just see what's going on here. All right, so Jesus Baez is in the deal. Let's see what else is there. SNY has just tweeted Mets are closing in on Ryan Helsley. All right, come on. So far, again, I don't care about these prospects, so you know I'm gonna like it. It's just that simple. Well, I don't. We'll see. We'll see what it is. We're just waiting for it right now. So once again, guys, if you're just tuning in, I do appreciate you guys. We got over 600 in the stream right now as we are on Mets Trade Watch. And during this game, the Mets, right before the game started, they traded for Tyler Rogers. And again, this is another reason why you trade Buto, because clearly Stearns has other things to work. Tyler Rogers and Helsley is a no-brainer. All right, so here we go. Let's reboot. Let's reset. Let's refresh. Let's see. All right, come on. Hold on. We're working on it here, guys. All right, let's see. Still waiting. I know there's a couple of guys' names here that we just got. Just give me a second. Jeff Passan is reporting Mets are close to Ryan Helsley. Here we go. If he gets Mason Miller, that's insane. I don't think so, but we'll see. So once again, guys, we're just waiting on the news of the final package that's going back to St. Louis for Ryan Helsley, the closer for the Cardinals. And it's looking like a done deal. I'm just waiting for the first confirmation of everybody. We know Jesus Baez in the deal, Mets 8th prospect in their system. Now, again, they've updated the system. Depending on where you look, he could be 8, he could be 10. So, but I'm going to go with 8. And Joel, you were talking about that. Okay, so Andy Martino has just tweeted the Mets are trading Jesus Baez and 2 other minor leaguers for Ryan Helsley. So I'm kind of thinking that Jesus Baez is the top one going. Because when you say Jesus Baez and 2 other minor leaguers, it's probably lesser than. So we'll see. So chosen one, the Mets, Baez, Dome, and Alyssa. Okay, let's see. Hold on. So if Jesus Baez is the highest prospect, that's a steal. Like the Phillies just gave up more for Durant. Oh yeah, Dolo, 100%. All right, so Jesus Baez is number 8. They gave up Dome, which is the 14th. And who's the other one? Who is the other one? Ellie Sat? Are you guys spelling that wrong? Because it is, unless that guy is not ranked. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about now. I'm sorry, I read it wrong. Oh, Frank. Okay, I got you. I see it. Okay, so he's in very low St. Lucie. So he's in A ball. So, all right. So, breaking news, guys. The New York Mets have traded for Ryan Helsley of the St. Louis Cardinals. The deal is number 8 overall prospect in Jesus Baez, shortstop, third baseman. their 14th ranked prospect in Nate Dome, right-handed pitcher, and Frank Ellisalt, who is a low A pitcher. So you basically gave one top 10 prospect and two top 15 prospects for Ryan Helsley. That's a great deal. 100% great deal. The Mets, basically, you replace Buto with two of these, with Tyler Rogers and freaking Ryan Helsley. Let's go. All in. David Stearns is cooking, baby. That's how you rebuild the bullpen. That is how you do it. Let me just change it up here. Give me a second. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just writing it down. Hold on. Give me a second. All right, guys. So here we go. So breaking news, guys. Once again, if you're just tuning in, the Mets trade for Ryan Helsley for Jesus Baez, the number 8 prospect, Nate Dome, number 14 prospect, and Frank Ellisalt in low A St. Lucie. So you gave up a shortstop, third baseman, which again, too many of those. So basically a guy that we're never going to see because there's too many guys in front of him. Nate Dome is your, I would say, your fifth ranked pitching prospect in your top 15. So again, he's about a year or two away. And again, Frank Ellisat, who is a single A St. Lucie low A ball minor leaguer. So great deal. Excellent deal. Excellent deal if you're the Mets. Okay. Well, no, I agree. If he gets a bat and he gets a starter, and it's just and if you're looking at the it's confirmed. They're showing it on SNY. Ryan Helsley to the Mets. Jesus Baez, Nate Dome, and Frank Ellisalt. Again, nothing yet on a bat. Again, we know the Mets are in Luis Robert. They're keeping their eyes on Cedric Mullins. You know, the Mets were in on Mason Miller, but again, Mason Miller probably cost way too much, and I didn't expect the Mets to do that. All right. And just for everybody's conscience, because nobody really brought it up, but here's another funny thing. Helsley is a rental. So, but again, this is what we do here. This is what we do here. You're trying to win. Like at this point, I don't think there's any more bullpen moves. You know, maybe it'll be a long reliever type of guy that can give you multiple innings, you know, like that. Maybe it's somebody that we're not really thinking of that's, you know, probably a little lesser than what we've got. But I mean, hey, when you go for a bullpen like this and you make, again, all three of these guys, Soto, Rogers, and Helsley, are all high leverage guys. Rogers, Gregory Soto, closer for the Orioles. Tyler Rogers, he was a high leverage 8th inning, and he closed against the Mets. Like he was in the 9th for the Mets, against the Mets. And we know Helsley is a closer. So you got 3 high leverage guys. 2 of them are closers in this bullpen with Edwin Diaz. And we're not even talking about Reed Garrett yet. We're not even talking about Brooks Raley. Like, guys, this is a good bullpen. Right, who do you want more in center field? Yeah, Mo, I'm telling you, right? Yeah, I mean, you can really argue that the Mets, like honest to God, I do have a friend who is close to the Yankees when it comes to that. What's going on? The Mets were, the Yankees were very much in on Helsley. So I think the Yankees wanted Helsley big time. And I know the Yankees were in on Rogers, but again, this is why the Mets wanted Rogers for a reason. They think that Buto over Rogers wasn't worth not doing a deal. Yeah, his career is great, really good. He has a 3 ERA this year. And again, it depends on what the priority is here, right? I think Stearns, and again, Luis Robert is still out there. Like, it's not like somebody traded for him already. And I think, the bullpens, and good job. I forgot who it was. God damn, I want to give that guy credit. It was a beat reporter. I don't know. I think it was for the Mets, but I could be wrong. He says this was last night. In the next 24 hours, bullpen arms are going to go out like crazy. Now, in Stearns we trust. I love you. I love this guy. Well, Peter, that's the thing, right? And when it comes to Helsley, right? He's 31 years old, right? He's 30 this year. He's gonna be 31 years old. And I love Spot Track when they Spot Track looking at contracts, because they change the logos like that. Like, it's beautiful. I love it. and he's basically making nothing this year. Like, the money is not even close. It's like 8.2 million. Like, it's a really good deal. And you see, this is why I talk about, guys, the fact that when you have depth in your farm system and you got log gems in your farm system, again, guys, we still got Acuna on this team. We still got Vientos, Beatty, and Mauricio. And we revamped our entire bullpen with 3 high leverage arms. Helsley with a 3 ERA, Tyler Rogers with a 1.8 ERA, and I think Gregory Soto had like a 3.5 ERA, 3.6 ERA. Like, all 3 of those guys are high leverage arms. And you gave one top 10 prospect to get all 3 of these guys as a whole. Like, that's really good, a really good deal, guys. That is an awesome combination there. And I will add Helsley to the list. I can't add any more prospects because I'm losing room here. But give me a second, guys. Let me just fix everything. I do apologize for the inconvenience, but we got to get it done. Give me a second. Just give me a little bit of time here. It's a work in progress. This is what happens when you're live, guys. All right, there we go. Change the pretty color so everybody can see what's going on here. All right. We're going to go with, I'm going to go with, yeah, why not? Let's go with orange. Let's go. All right, I'm going to remove this just so we can fit everybody. All right, guys. Give me another minute or two, and I'll have everything ready to go for you. All right. All right, give me a second. It's coming along, I promise. All right. These names are, especially the last one. All right. Let me just double check something, make sure we got it all good. I'm going to mess that one up, right? There we go. All right. Beautiful. All right. Give me a second, guys. It's coming along, I promise. Just got to make sure everything's on point and make sure you guys can actually see it. That's the important part, because sometimes you never know. All right. So got to fix everything here. Make everything good. Boom. All right. That's looking better. Sorry, guys. I'm just fixing the names here just to give the updated deals for the Mets. So whoever's tuning in, and we're over 700 people here, which is awesome. I do appreciate that. Just deal with me here. Talk amongst yourselves. There's a lot of you in there, so I appreciate it. All right. Oh, yeah. Looking better and better every second, guys. I promise. All right. Oh, yeah. That's what I like to see. Progress. I like progress. Proven talent over prospects any day, guys. I love it. Beautiful sight sometimes. And Mike Lowry, thank you for the super chat. I'll get to your comment in a second. Oh yeah, I like to see that. Oh yeah, here we go, guys. It's coming. Promise. It's gonna pop up in 5, 4, 3, 2. Just give me a second. It's loading. Takes time here. Look at that. Look at that. Record time. All right, guys. So if you're just tuning in, breaking news: the Mets trade for Ryan Helsley. It's a done deal for number 8 prospect Jesus Baez, number 14 ranked Nate Dome, who's a right-handed pitcher, and another right-handed pitcher in Frank Elisalt, who is a low A uh, minor leaguer, St. Lucie. There you go, guys. We got 3 high leverage relievers for 1 top 10 prospect. That's basically what you got. So you basically replace Budo with Rogers and Helsley and Soto. Like, that's crazy. Like, that is really good. And again, I did it. I color coded it so you could see what deal is with what at the moment. Are the Mets done? No. Bullpen? Probably done. Batter? Hitter? We'll see. All right, so here we go, guys. Let me just start with CD. Thank you for the super chat. Pen is stacked. Do they have to trade Garrett or Brazaban? No. Brazaban he's got options, so he went down to the minor leagues. So clearly David Stearns is dealing with that. Reed Garrett's going to be your 6th inning guy now. He was your 7th inning guy, an 8th inning guy at times. He's now dropped down to your 6th inning guy. And also you got Raley. You got Stanek. Like, this is good. These guys get dropped down. Like, Tyler Rogers is better than Reed Garrett and better than Stanek. Ryan Helsley is better than all of them. And then you got Diaz, by the way. So, CD, thank you for the super chat. Next up is Gates of Above. Sorry, I got to get to the super chats as quickly as possible as I can. I'm sorry. It looks like Stearns is broken up the pen, and I guess we call up prospects, arms, or of ours to help the end of the season and playoffs. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, Gates. I don't think that's going to happen, buddy. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're concerned about bringing up top prospects. Where are they going to bring the top prospects up? They're not bringing Jet Williams up to play center field. I think they're going to go get a center fielder. We'll see if they're still because again, Ryan Helsley came out of nowhere. Like, they got Rogers. We heard about Duran. And again, this is a situation where the Mets were probably in on Duran. They weren't comfortable giving up 2 top 10 prospects to the Phillies, to the Twins for Duran. And they were willing to give up 1 top 10 prospect, it was a number 8, and 2 top 15 prospects for Helsley. And I'm really okay with that. And Mike Lowry just came in. What would be the package for Sandy? We haven't really heard about starting pitching today much. Mike. Ray, I appreciate it. I'm gonna get to your super chat just now. Mike, I'm not really sure, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be pretty a good amount. Like, I don't see the Mets trading for Sandy Alcantara by not giving up any one of their top pitching prospects. I find that hard to believe. And again, and Ben just said it. Mike, thank you for the super chat once again. And Ray, I'll get to you in a second. Ben just said it. These comments are coming in crazy, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, Baez was blocked. There's 4 guys in front of him at third base. There's Lindor at shortstop. So again, he was expendable. This is what I talk about. When you got assets that are expendable, when you got depth and you got people blocking other guys, those guys are used as assets. This is what Stearns is doing here. Nate Dome is our 4th pitching prospect in our top 15. It's not really a loss for this system at all. And again, Elisalt is low A, single A in St. Lucie. He's not even at high A. And he's a right-handed pitcher many years away. So again, it's a really good trade for a guy who's a closer. And now Ray said 600 plus viewers. Proud of you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that. Right now it says 600, and I think on X it's about 150. So in total, we got almost 730 people in the stream from X and YouTube. So I do appreciate it, guys. This is insane, and this is fun, right? This is what we live for. We live for this goddamn team that just got swept by the Padres, right? Our bullpen got drastically better. If you don't believe that, and I don't see anybody in the chat, so I'm not calling anybody out here. And I'll get to the other super chats. I'm not calling anybody out, I promise. And I don't think anybody's having a problem with it. You just revamped your bullpen in a week with another lefty high leverage arm, with one of the better high leverage setup mans in baseball in Tyler Rogers. And you just got one of the better closers on the market in Ryan Helsley. And that adds to Diaz. That adds Reed Garrett, Stanek, Raley. Guys, this is a really good bullpen. Like you could, like, again, you can look around the teams that need bullpen. The Phillies made one move. They got a closer. Do you know how much bullpen help they still need? There's a ton of bullpen arms out there, so I would be shocked if they get one or two more. But the Mets did their job in the bullpen. They're not done. I'm telling you that they're not done. And I gotta find it, but I want to give this beat reporter credit because he was spot on. He said last night around 8 or 8:30, I think, that the next 24 hours is going to be full of bullpen arms moving. And he was spot on. It was mostly bullpen arms that has been moved. I know Suarez news is popping up now. Like, it's just crazy right now. Hold on, guys. Let me just want to check something really quick, guys. Just want to see something. my coworkers are funny. I wonder if they're still watching right now. All right. Ernest Stove says, the few sources I have are absolutely silent right now. This can sometimes lead to a response after the fact. This is great. I love this stuff. This is what I love. I love being a buyer. It sucks being a seller, right? The Mets don't have these opportunities so many times. And Gates, once again, thank you for the super chat. I meant if they don't go starter, they call up a Sprout or McLean. I mean, I still don't see that, Gate, to be honest, only because I don't think that's necessarily helping, in my opinion. And I'll tell you why. Not about the talent, not about the stuff. The problem with this rotation is length. They don't give you no length other than David Peterson. You're going to be sending a kid in McLean and Sprout or Tong, whoever, one of those guys, in the rotation that you need to protect. They're not going to just throw him out there and let him go out there and, leave him to dry out there. You're just not doing that. So they're going to protect him with innings and protect him with pitch count. We don't need another guy we have to worry about. And worry about pitch count. Worry about how many innings he can throw. David Peterson, when he goes on the mound, we're not talking about innings limit. We're not talking about pitch count. We're doing that with Sanger. We're doing that with Minaya. We're doing that with everybody else in this rotation. Now, Montas, basically a 5-inning guy. So you don't expect much from him from a back end of the rotation guy. Clay Holmes doesn't give you length. Like, the majority of your rotation doesn't give you length, and you got to worry about their pitch counts. And that's 3 out of the 4 guys. It's a problem. It's rough. So I don't see them doing that and worry about innings limit. And unless they don't care about the innings limit or the pitch count, which I find that very hard to believe, that's why I still think they're going to go out and get a starter. Once again, guys, if you're just tuning in, we got over 700 in the stream from YouTube and X. I do appreciate your support. I appreciate all the likes. I appreciate all the comments and all the news that's coming in while I'm trying to speak to you. I don't want to keep on looking at my phone because you don't want to see my big ass head the whole time looking down, right? I'm trying to look at the phone, trying to look at you, the camera and all that stuff. I want to make sure everything I got your attention. You got my attention. That's what I want. I want to be focused. So I appreciate you guys telling me in the chat. Like, I didn't look down and see Helsley. I saw you guys say something, and I'm like, whoa, Okay, that's when I look down. Yeah, Truman, you ain't kidding, man. That thing's a freaking planet. Like, no joke. Well, Kev, he threw in 170 innings last year, so he's going to be around that, if not a little bit more. I think David Peterson's going to be fine. Dolo, thank you for the super chat. Is the bullpen better than San Diego? I'm trying to think of all the names, but I have to say yes, because the Padres don't have 3 closes in their bullpen. Like, Soto was a closer for the Orioles. Helsley was the closer for the Cardinals. We also have Diaz. Rogers pitched in the ninth a few times for the Giants this year, and he's a setup guy. So I'm gonna say yes, just based on what we got. Or, we do realize that Helsley, Soto, and Rogers can probably all be closers for other teams. Like, that's our bullpen, and we have Diaz as a closer. Like, that's beautiful. This is a legit bullpen. Now, what does concern me, and I'm gonna throw a little negative undertone here, right? I can care less to see all those guys on the right side, the subtractions. This whole thing about subtractions, addition by subtraction. That's what this is. This is a lot of guys that are probably blocked by other players that are higher than them or at the major league roster. Guys that have not done the job are out, right? The only thing that concerns me, and again, we still got basically 24 hours until the deadline, 23 hours at this point. Getting all these high leverage guys kind of makes me think in the back of my head that the Mets aren't going to get a top 3 starter. That kind of hurts my feelings a little bit, because I don't trust this rotation where it currently stands. And maybe Gates is right that he said, and let me find that super chat again. Maybe they will call up a Sproat or a McLean or even a Tom. I find that hard to believe, but I think you would have to if you don't go out and get a top 3 starter, because you can't rely on these guys. None of these guys go deep except for Peterson. I would think you would hope. I'm not thinking, but let's hope Show Mania continues to build up his arm strength. He threw 85, 86 pitches his last outing, and he pitched well. Can he provide the length coming back from injury? Is his next start going to get him 90 plus pitches and get him into the 6th inning? If that's the case, you got 2 guys that can give you length. That makes me feel a little bit better. But Clay Holmes is a 0. We just watched it. I don't trust Kodai Senga. This guy does not go deep into games. It frustrates the hell out of me that people don't talk about it enough. It's very frustrating, and it sucks, because I like Kodai Senga. But what we have to do to get him on the mound is utterly ridiculous, because there are guys from Japan. And again, Yamamoto just got here not too long ago. But even him, they started out him, giving him extra rest, and they gradually got him to every 5th day on the mound. You had to do that with Senga. The Mets never have since 2023. They've coddled him way too much, and now he depends on that 5th day off before he can pitch. That's a problem for me, because his stuff is too good to not have him on the mound more often than not. This guy in an NLDS in a 5-game series can't pitch game 1 and 5. It's not enough days off. Now, a regular pitcher would be pitching on the 5th day, not Kodai Senga. That concerns me. In the NLCS 7-game series, right, where we're looking at it here, if Kodai Senga, what a lot of people says, he has ace type stuff. He is an ace pitcher, right? That's how many people talked about before the season started. People were talking about Kodai Senga being the ace. I laughed. You know why? Because your ace needs to be dependable. Your ace needs to show up on short rest at times in situations like the playoffs. That's not happening with Kodai Senga. Is he going to pitch game 1, 4, and 7 with the off days in between? Because he's going to get regular rest for his second start. And if you need him in a 7th game, he's coming back on possibly 2 days rest, maybe 3. Real aces do that. You really think Kodai Senga is doing that? You're out of your mind. And if he does that, have you seen his record and his stats when he pitches on normal rest and pitches on the 5th day? His ERA is near 5. That is not an ace. That is not trustworthy. So, with this high leverage arms that we got in Soto, Rogers, and Helsley, I kind of have that eerie feeling that the Mets are not going to get a top 3 starter. Now, will they get a starter that can be in this rotation as, to replace Holmes? Yeah. I guess that's okay. Doesn't make me excited. And are they going to get a bat? I'm getting everybody just in the chat, in my comments, guys, that I'm looking at right now. I'm sorry. All right. All right. All right. Cool. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm just looking at the comments these comments really quick. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just reading some comments from people that put me up. Oh, we got another super chat. Guys, I appreciate it really much. Wild Willie says Alcantara, Kyle Stowers. I don't think they're trading Kyle Stowers. I don't think the Marlins are doing that, but we'll have a conversation about it. Why not? Right? This is a Mets trade watch show. For Vientos plus 2 minor leaguers. You're asking the wrong guy. So, guys, in the comments, how do you feel about that? Right? I mean, people don't want to trade Vientos. There's too many people that don't want to trade Vientos. You're nuts. Damn, the Mets are still active in the bullpen. That's insane. Now, I don't think it's for a high leverage arm. I don't think that makes any sense anymore at this point. Like, unless, like, I'm trying to figure out, like, who else are we like? All right, we didn't know Rogers was on the radar. Even Soto wasn't on the radar. Helsley, we didn't even hear any rumors until it happened. So, I can't think it's any more high leverage arms. It has to be somebody that's like a middle tier type of guy, somebody that can give you innings, as a long man. That's the only thing I can think of. Like, that's crazy. So I don't think that trade can happen. Stowers is not in the deal. There's no way the Marlins are trading him. Again, if it's just Alcantara, I would do Vientos plus 2 minor leaguers, but most people won't, in my opinion. Again, let's see what the chat says. Truman says in a heartbeat. Patrick says yes. Ryan, Rob is rich with all these super chats. Listen, I appreciate it, guys. Like, I never ask for money for any of you guys. Like, I even talk about the memberships and stuff like that. Like, I don't force anybody to do it. I don't ask people to do it at all. I never talk about super chats unless you guys send them and then I talk about it. I don't do that. So trust me, I appreciate it more than you guys think. I really do. And with all these shows and live streams, man, I'm spending a lot more time than you than family. I tell you that. But guys, you guys are like my like you guys are like, sports family. Like I talk to you guys more than probably I talk to anybody else in my life. Like, seriously. Girlfriend, family, general coworkers, even though they're texting me right now because some are watching. And most of them are Met fans. Again, I don't know if most of you know this, but I did move to North Carolina about a year and a half ago. And I moved, obviously, my job location. And the location I went to actually has more Mets fans than I had in my New York location. So how that happened, I have no idea. I actually chose a location in North Carolina, which is about what 5 different locations in North Carolina, and like they're all Met, like most of them are Met fans. It's crazy, and a lot of these guys are from New York or New Jersey or other parts of the tri-state. Some in Jersey, but yeah, they're Met fans, and those guys are awesome. And I know they're watching. They're probably cursing me out because we talk nonsense in our group chat. So all right, so let's see. PR center starting pitcher and center fielder. Yep, I agree. I think that should be next up. Robert, what about a deal from Keller or Bednar? Eh, Bednar's not happening. I mean, if it is, I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, do we even need starting pitching anymore? But if it's true that what was it, the Como that just said that the Mets are still on bullpen, tells me there might not be a starter coming, which is kind of makes me a little annoyed. But this is Stearns in a nutshell. I've talked about Stearns. Stearns is the guy that don't like to pay for pitching, prospect wise or money. He will load up on the bullpen, and he's showing it. Yeah, and I just read your comments, Cindy. Like, yeah, that's the point. Like, that's the crazy part about it. Cindy just said it. We've all been saying it. Stearns loads up on bullpen. That's why I never concern myself with David Stearns in the bullpen because this guy does everything he can to build up a bullpen. And again, this is why he does 1-year deals. This is why he got guys with options because this is what he does. He gave again, guys. We got Gregory Soto, Tyler Rogers, Ryan Helsley. All 3 of these guys are 8th or 9th inning guys. And he got the majority for one major leaguer reliever that has been subpar and 2 top 15 prospects. We gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys, one major leaguer who was subpar in the bullpen, and 1 top 10 prospect and 1 top 15 prospect. So in total, we basically gave, it depends on what updated prospect list you see. Drew Gilbert can be in the top 15, but he isn't in the top 10. So you basically give 3 prospects that are 8 or higher and a couple of other low-level prospects and Jose Buto for high leverage relievers. The Mets needed bullpen help, a ton of it, and they got it. And I commend David Stearns, but he still got work to do, in my opinion. Yeah, Mo, that's a good point. Yeah, Budo had no options left, so and we know David Stearns, but guys with options, he hates it. When you don't have an option, he hates you. Stezo, I appreciate it. Once again, guys, thank you for tuning in to the Mets Trade Watch live right here on the channel and on X. And I know there's about 100, 130 people watching it on X. Retweet, reshare, whatever you want to call it nowadays. Hit that like button. Come over to the YouTube channel real quick. Hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. And look, this is why when I talk about going for it, I like aggressive moves. This is not a half-ass move for bullpen. Any 3 of these trades, these moves. And right now, again, it's 7:50 on a Wednesday. We're less than 24 hours away until 6 p.m. tomorrow. 23 hours away, well, 22 hours away almost, until the deadline. The Mets solved their bullpen needs. Those holes are filled. Center field, I'm assuming the Mets are still in on center field on a bat. If it's center field, it is whatever. But a bat. Let's just say a bat. I'm not even talking about center field anymore. Give me a bat, and we'll see. I'm looking at this. Well, again, Kev, Bellinger was a trade. He wasn't able to sign him. Bellinger was a trade. Where were you playing Bellinger? You got Nimmo in left, Soto in right. And in center field, they got Jose Siri in a trade. So Jose Siri is supposed to be our starting center fielder. I know he's not better than Bellinger. I'm not saying that. But you had a trade for Bellinger and take on his 20, what was it, 20, 19, $20 million contract. And he was another one that's opting out after this year. So again, and Max Fried, he's not giving long-term deals to pitchers. As much as I would like him to, he's not doing it. But the Mets are one of the better teams in baseball with the pitching staff we put together. As much as I don't necessarily like it, facts are the facts. They're 15 games over 500? They're right now tied for first place in the NL East. They're right in the mix of everything. Brad, it wouldn't be a bad idea, but it depends. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm not worried about Cody Bellinger right now, Brad, but I understand what you're talking about since Cody Bellinger was brought up. And the White Sox are beating the Phillies. All right, so hopefully if the Phillies lose, we're still a half a game. We're still in first place after getting swept. So it sucks, but it is what it is. So the Phillies are getting their ass kicked, huh? Oh, 9-2. We like that. We like it. And I just want to check the Phillies box score really quick. I'm just curious. Yeah, these guys, their bullpen is terrible, guys. Why you think? And again, they only got Duran. Like, I don't think Duran's enough for the Phillies. Like, they got to get to Joan Duran in the ninth. Like, who's doing it? Johnson, Lazar, Banks. Lazar gave up 6 runs, and he got 1 out. Like, guys, like this is what I'm saying here. Duran is not enough for the Phillies. And again, there's so many bullpen arms out there. They're going to get 1 or 2 guys. I can guarantee you that. They got Robertson, but like, that's fine. I think I like Robertson, but again, is that going to make a difference for a bullpen that has been struggling? Maybe. I mean, maybe. So we'll see. All right. Let's see. Just looking at the comments, guys. I just want to see, because again, there's over 600 people. I'm trying to catch up to the comments. What about Marcus Stroman? Please don't talk about that name. I hate that guy. I don't like that guy. He thinks he's an ace, and he's barely a 5th starter. I don't like him. Fields get rocked in by White Sox. Can Nimmo play center field anymore? Probably not. Not if you want to keep him healthy. Tony Metro, he's a cool guy. Yes, he is. Oh, Tom, 100%. Like, but again, it was obvious the Mets were in on Duran, right? Because again, not even 20 minutes later, the Mets were closing in on a deal for Helsley. So clearly, they had their hands in both cookie jars, right? That was the idea, right? They probably were trying to get Duran, but again, look what they gave up. Again, the Phillies gave more than what the Mets were willing to give for Duran. They gave up 2 top 6 prospects when the Mets gave up, quantity, but overall they got quality. And then that's the idea. Well, look, again, let me remove this comment, and I appreciate that, Sam. We gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We gave up quantity for quality. Like, nobody should be crying about the quantity we gave up. That's what I talk about when you guys are talking about 3 for 1 when it came to Tyler Rogers. It's not about that. It's about the quality we're getting for the guy, and ultimately the guys that we gave up. Ultimately, what are they doing right now? 99% of them aren't on the team right now, and Jose Butte was the only one, and he struggled mightily. And one thing the Mets need to focus on, and if you pay attention to Helsley, you pay attention to Rogers in particular, they're strike throwers. Soto, on the other hand, can be a little erratic. But the Mets feel like they can do what they did to Brazaban. And again, Gregory Soto is much better than Brazaban, so I don't want to talk down on Soto like that, but Rogers and Helsley are strike throwers. Like that is what this bullpen needs in particular, and his pitching staff needs. So yes. Kev, no, I didn't. I was very clear on talking about David Stearns. I was not happy with the rotation he put together. I think getting Sean Manaea was a no-brainer. I think he needed Sean Manaea plus, not Clay Holmes, not Frankie Montas. I think we needed Manaea plus a top 2-arm, and I didn't like that. The bullpen, I wasn't concerned. I wasn't mad about the bullpen because I always thought David Stearns was able to put a good bullpen together. Look at the Milwaukee Brewers all those years. Even with no money, he found a way to have a top 5 bullpen in baseball every year. He got him at the deadline. He got him in the offseason with a lot of one-year deals. That's what he done. He is a bullpen guru. He will figure out by end of year, getting to the playoffs, he figures out a bullpen by any means necessary. Proven in point. He did it last year. I know a lot of people were like, oh, Phil Maton sucked. No, he didn't. Phil Maton was outstanding in the final 2 months of the season. He sucked in the playoffs, but when Stanek was figuring shit out, and he sucked when the Mets got him the first 2 months. He started to pitch better at the end of the year. Phil Maton helped us get into the playoffs in the regular season in those final 2 months. He was one of our better relievers, along with Nunez and Buto. Stanek wasn't until basically like game 155. He started to figure it out. And then it flipped. Stanek became the better bullpen arm, and Maton was terrible. But he figured the bullpen out. He needed 2 arms. He got 2 arms. Ultimately, the Mets rotation, every one of them threw a tremendous amount of innings that they did in the last couple of years, and they were gassed. So there was basically no chance. Unless the Mets outscored everybody, it wasn't happening. So yeah, I didn't like what he did with the rotation, but I was never concerned with the bullpen. And I thought the lineup would have been fine. The problem is the top 4 guys aren't hitting with runners in scoring position. Pete Alonso and Lindor are in a month slump. They're not playing well. Soto has been okay. Nimmo has been pretty decent. Like, that's been the problem. Like, we're so worried about the bottom. We're talking about a bat because our top 4 guys in our lineup are not doing a good enough job. We shouldn't have been talking about a bat at this deadline. We should have been talking about starting pitching and bullpen. Because Vientos is a 0, and Alvarez was so bad and was okay since he's come back up. And, with the guys at the top not doing well with runners in scoring position, now we're talking about a bat. This was supposed to be a deadline of starting pitching and bullpen for the Mets. Now you had to add the bat to the mix. That's why it's frustrating. And that's why it's much harder to navigate through a trade deadline when you need starting pitching, you need bullpen, you need a bat. That's a lot to get at a deadline. That's a lot of guys. Like, if the Mets don't stop here, which we all assume they're not stopping here, they already gave up 8 players off their roster or out of their organization. If they're going to get a bat and a starter, you're talking about 12 to 15 guys in our organization that you're getting rid of. Some on the 40-man, some not. That's a huge number. But this is what happens when guys don't perform. When guys don't perform, you got to improvise. You got to improvise. Like, that's the problem. All right, hold on, guys. Something going on? Hold on. Give me a second. And I do agree. This guy on X said the Mets gave up more in value than the Phillies, and we got a rental. David Stearns is a genius. That is sarcastic, obviously. All right, keep going. Hold on. All right, Anthony DeComo said this. I think this is what we talked about earlier. I'm told that the Mets intend to remain active even after acquiring Ryan Helsley and Tyler Rogers for the bullpen. They're still pushing for a bat. So that's what Anthony DeComo. So uh, he's saying that the Mets are remaining active even after acquiring Helsley and Rogers for the bullpen. And they're still pushing for a bat. So again, I'm not sure if the Mets are going to go get a starter. Let's see what's going on now. I'm just checking the comments, guys. It's funny though because now people are talking about Hell's Bells with Duran and the trumpets with Diaz now. So. And I went to Minnesota. What was it, last year or 2 years ago when the Mets were in Minnesota, and that's an awesome entrance. I was there, and Duran actually, because the Mets were terrible in 2023, 2023, and they Duran was coming in to close the game, and that entrance is awesome. In person, it's awesome. All right, sorry guys, I'm just looking just to make sure if there's anything else. Yeah, not really yet. Right now, I think it's kind of simmered down a little bit. So, all right, guys, we're 2 hours in. Right, we're gonna end this kind of soon, only because because I want to get rid of you guys. Just that if there is any more breaking news, obviously you know what I would do. I would come back on the breaking news stream. Right, I already got all my streams set up for possible breaking news for the Mets, guys, and I did have a Helsley stream ready to go for breaking news, but it happened during we were live here during the trade watch, so it worked out, right? Like you guys have been tremendous. Over 740 and climbing viewers throughout this stream. From the moment I got on this stream at 6 o'clock, there was over 150, and then it just kept on growing. So I appreciate it, guys. You guys are awesome. I love the fact that you guys interact on the chat and you just go crazy. And the super chats, you guys know I appreciate it. I never ask for it. I don't do that. I'm not that type of person. I don't ask for super chats. I never do. I appreciate it when they come in. Trust me when I tell you. I do. But I never ask for it like that. I just don't. For some reason, I just don't care. Like you do, you don't. I try to answer as many comments as I do, super chat or not. You give me a super chat, I appreciate it. Obviously, I will put up your comment or whatever you type. And Joe, Mr. Arizona, back to Jersey. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. I know you're very excited going back to Jersey. I'm homesick as well, man. I tell you, if I can find my way back to New York, I would. I promise you that. So, once again, guys, earlier today, before Mets game, before they got their asses kicked by the Padres, the Mets traded for Tyler Rogers, probably our setup man. Probably not anymore because we just got Helsley. But the Mets traded for Tyler Rogers for Jose Butto, Blake Tidwell, and Drew Gilbert. That was right before the game. Right after the Phillies traded for Duran, not even 15 minutes later, the New York Mets traded for closer Ryan Helsley from the St. Louis Cardinals for Jesus Baez, Nate Dome, and Frank Elisalt. Baez, number 8 prospect, clearly blocked by many guys on this major league roster already. So it's asset. You use him as an asset. Nate Dome is your 4th top pitching prospect in your top 15. You have Sproat, you have McLean, you have Tong. So expendable. And Frank Elisalt is a single A player that is years away. So addition by subtraction, guys. Overall, if this is the end of the night for some more trade news, I do got to go to work tonight. So hopefully over the next 2 to 3 hours, something else happens, and I'll jump on, hopefully, if I'm not sleeping. Hopefully not. Like, thank you, Stearns, for doing this while I'm up, because last year it was basically middle of the night, and you got me annoyed. But I do appreciate everybody tuning in. 2 hours of a show. We got deals. Finally, I'm on a stream when we got a deal. Like, I got off the stream, and not even 10 minutes later, the Mets got Tyler Rogers. So thank you, David Stern, for making a trade while we're on the stream. Thank you guys in the comments for putting that in the stream while I wasn't trying to look at my phone. So in a week, the Mets got Gregory Soto, high leverage arm. Tyler Rogers today, before the game, high leverage arm. And Philly says, what up? We got Joan Duran. The Mets say, hold my beer. We got Ryan Helsley. So, a revamped bullpen. According to Anthony DeComo, the Mets are not done. Now, talking about a bat, they're still in on a bat. They're possibly still in on another bullpen arm. And we'll see if they're still in on starting pitching. With that said, have a good night, guys. Enjoy our new bullpen. We should see all of them on Friday while the Mets are back home. The revamped Mets bullpen is going to look very, very nice in orange and blue. But is David Stearns done? 22 hours left until the MLB trade deadline comes to a close. Have a good night, guys. Let's enjoy tomorrow. It's an off day, but it's going to be a busy off day. I will be doing another Mets trade watch at 1 p.m., 1:30 tomorrow up until 6 o'clock. So it's going to be a very long 4 or 5 hours of craziness. Hopefully, and I know you guys probably want more moves, but I don't want them to make any trades while I'm at work because it's almost impossible for me to get on my phone and go live. Like, that would be crazy. Maybe my boss will let me. Probably not. But let's get the deals done while we're on the stream because it's more fun that way. Have a good night, guys. Let's go Mets. Rogers, Helsley. 2 big bullpen moves today for David Stearns. Let's see what is next, guys. Have a good night, guys. Let's go Mets. And keep on refreshing social media. Have a good night, guys. Let's go Mets.
Rob on the mic, spitting truth from the heights. Queens unite under stadium lights. Bright nights, 7 train rides. Dreams born in the real hum. Brooklyn to Queens, yeah, we all about that outcome. This our time, this our cheer. Mets talk loud, bring the hype, make it clear. From the boroughs to the field, this our year. Queens in the house, let the world hear. From Flushing Meadows, echoes bounce off the bat. Rob calls, take the mic, snaps like a thunderclap. Home runs over bridges, no gaps in the story. Mets rise, reclaim.